Hey guys, there is something I wanted to tell you that might be of interest to you. It is certainly very important for me because it will largely impact my future career choices and have an impact on how my resume looks like. Hopefully give me some new skills, new ideas on where I want to work and what I want to work at. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. So 2 weeks ago, I started to seriously think about what I'm going to do next summer. Yeah, because having something to do over the summer that is related to your potential career is very important. It's very good if you have done any kind of internships or summer research positions over the course of your degree. It looks really good in your resume. It gives you some ideas on what you would like to work on, give you some useful insights. Hopefully along the way you'll be able to acquire new skills. So what I did, I sat down and started to look around for the companies I potentially would like to work for. I started to do some research, and I know that in mid-January there is a career fair at our university, and all the companies that I had on my radar will be represented there. And that will be an option, of course, to be prepared before that career fair comes. Have your resume ready and do a little research on each of the companies. Prepare your questions maybe. But that's all good and nice, with one exception, that I really want to try and do a summer research first before I attempt any internships in the companies, because I do have some exposure to the real world employment setting and I know how that works, even though I didn't work in a tech related field or nothing even close to physics. But I know what it is like to work for a company. But on the other hand, I have no idea what the summer research looks like, what it is like to work in a lab. And I really want to get that experience. I really want to try my hand at doing academic type of work and see if I can be any good at this. So my strategy was the following. I simply went on the website of my school, found the physics department website, and then from this point on there's a tab that's called research, and it lists all of the research areas that our university does, be it the nuclear physics, quantum physics, condensed matter, astro, and so on. And so each of these subsections has a certain number of professors who work in that field. Every professor has a subpage describing what they do in their lab, what their research field is, what they're trying to accomplish. And so I went through each of them, reading and trying to see what would fit me, what would fulfill my interests, and where I could potentially be a good fit. And that's what I did. So I from all of this research, I narrowed down 3 top choices that I thought would be suitable for me, and I noted them down, did a little bit more research on each of the 3 professors. I mean, not on the professors, but on the field they're working in. And then I identified the top one that I thought will be a really good fit for me, and then I simply went and knocked on his door and asked for a summer research position. And since I started doing this so early in the school year, many professors still don't know what their funding is going to look like for the summer, and they actually haven't even thought yet about employing summer students, at least not the professor that I talked to. Overall, we had a really good conversation. Of course, I was a little bit nervous when we talked, and I was caught off guard with some of the questions that I was asked because I wasn't prepared and I didn't know what to answer. I've never had this experience before. I just went straight ahead in this and, knocking on the door and see what comes out of it. So what happened is that after our conversation, we agreed that I will contact him one more time in November and the first weeks of November, and then hopefully by then he will know what his funding will look like, and then also he directed me to his grad students in his lab, and that's exactly what I did. After our conversation, I went straight to the lab. One of the students he recommended I talk to was there, so he kindly showed me around, explained me a little bit about each project, what they do, showed me the equipment, and after that point, I already had one more check mark in my mind that this could be a good place for me. And then a week later, I contacted another person from the lab, and I spoke to her on Friday. She works more on the... Oh, by the way, sorry, I didn't mention at all which area I chose. So I was really interested in anything that has to do with condensed matter. I also realized that 2 of my top 3 choices were professors who work with condensed matter. Back to the conversation with the grad student, she is a PhD student in that lab, and she had a really good information to share with me. She was super kind to explain what open projects are there in the lab that I could potentially work on, and what it is like to work in a lab, what they do, what I could potentially be doing as the new summer student, being an undergraduate student yet and not graduate. That conversation just firmed my decision in trying to get into the lab, whatever it takes, because I was really interested, and I'm still really interested. The research concerns mainly about nanoparticles, nanomagnetism, their application in biophysics, and in treatment of some of the bacteria, viruses, cancers. Another portion of the lab works more in material science, but also has to do with nanoparticles as well, and nanomagnetism. And so this is kind of stuff I find really cool and interesting. And if I can get into this, I will share my progress, I will share my journey. I really hope to be of some use in that lab. I think one of the reasons why I'm so interested in this particular area is because I really like chemistry. I remember back 10 years ago when I took my first university year here in Canada, I had 2 chemistry courses, and then I also had 1 biology course that had to do with the cell structure and functions and everything related to this. I really found this cool, especially the chemistry. Actually, I liked it to the point that by the end of that first year, when you're supposed to declare your major, I all of a sudden decided to declare a major in chemistry. And so a couple months before I was supposed to return to school and start my chemistry major, I had some things happen and I dropped out of school. It took me 7 years to go back, and I never thought I would. But 2 years ago I went back, and then I started questioning my choices. I was thinking about engineering, I was thinking about chemistry, and then somehow I navigated my way to physics. There were reasons behind this, mostly employability reasons and the big competition in the chemistry field and the big entrance requirements to the engineering department. On the other hand, I remembered my old love for physics. That's the subject that I started to study when I finished high school, and I always kept coming back to it. And so I went back into physics. And now I'm 3rd year in my degree, and I have no regrets of doing so. I am really glad I chose physics as a study subject, and now seeing this lab working so tightly with the chemistry department and having relation to biophysics and medicine, and also dealing with some companies that give the projects to work on that are related to the industry directly, is really cool and really makes me happy to see that this is happening. Anyways, I really hope I can work in that lab for the summer, gain that experience, and try my best, work hard, and see what I can accomplish. That's my number 1 priority, besides doing good in classes, because obviously having good GPA is really important. And I also was encouraged to apply to some of the awards that are available for the summer research students. Many of them are GPA dependent, and I have my doubts that I will be able to get any of these. But nevertheless, I was still encouraged to apply, because sometimes what happens, there is not enough applicants, and there is a good chance I could get an award. And it also depends very much on the project that you choose to do. So before applying for award, you have to have an agreement with the potential supervisor and a project that you will be working on, so that you can include it with your application. So I really hope that this will work out. So this is what it looks like in the moment, where I'm at in this regard. And I hope I can share some news with you in a couple of weeks from now. Then we'll go from there. So that's it, guys, for this update. I hope you will follow me through my journey, and I will be glad to share whatever I will be allowed to share and whatever I find interesting myself, so that you have some insight in how to land at this field and what you basically can do with your physics degree. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.